Hi, we're working on some motorcycles today. I got the Vulcan 750. This one is waiting for a new choke cable and a float pin valve before I can reassemble it, and that should be it. Should fire right up and run off with somebody else. Katana 750. It's got something going on with it. Mostly I'm just angry with it. I'll deal with that later. So today we're working on this little Nighthawk. Looks like a Honda Nighthawk 750. Here's the operative word right here. Cheap. I think I spent like 75 bucks on this. Not a bad little deal. I mean, it's a beater, you know, so it'll just be for like some newbie to beat on while they're learning, you know, drop it a couple times, beat on it, and then sell it to somebody else. But yeah, my goal is usually to get a bike running the same day that I start working on it, if possible. So that's what we're going to try to do with this bike. Look over it a little bit. I bet it's a safe bet that this tachometer doesn't work. I might be able to salvage this master cylinder, although the fact that this stuff is so far corroded and these screws are loose makes me think that the previous guy was like, yeah, no. So I have plenty of master cylinders in the shed. I'll just put one on. Key doesn't open this yet. I need to work that loose. Let's see. This all looks like junk, but it might work. You know, clean up some of this rust. New battery in here. New seat cover. Once I get this thing running, then I will order the seat cover. But yes, I will put a new seat cover on it. I don't really use my my trick that I've shown in another video for stretching vinyl over seats when you have a stepped up seat like this, because it just doesn't turn out good. So I'll go on eBay and find guys who make, like, you know, a formed one, and you know, I'll pay 20 bucks or whatever and get one and then put it on. A little oily around the head there, not a big deal. Clean it up. Tires are actually pretty good, not rotting, plenty of tread, holding there. And I do have the side panels, so that's the plan for that. Oh, look at this. The airbox is separated from the carburetors. I can see right in there. At least the choke is maybe not seized. Oh no, the choke is seized. Yeah, these carburetors, I know the throttle's seized, but it looks like the choke is seized as well. So we're gonna need a little bit of carburetor work here. But first step, let's get this old battery out. Let's put a new battery in, see what lights come on, try and get the starter motor running over and see if we've got spark. New battery's in. Nothing at the key. So we're going to start down there at the starter solenoid and start cleaning up all these connections. Go to the fuse box, do the same. Try and find where the brake is. Found some free fuses under the seat. That's a score. Crappy old fuse box here. You can see some of these are loose, not giving a good connection. If this isn't the cause of the problem, it's definitely not helping. If this were my bike, I'd probably upgrade this to blade style fuses, but since it's not my bike, I will take this thing apart and see if I can reconnect it here and see exactly what the problem is. Clean it up a bit and see if it'll work. Oh, look at that, just with fucking with it. We got some lights now. Alright, we got our oil and neutral light. Still no headlight. Oh, we got low beams. There we go. Tail light, no. Brake light, no. Starter button, no. Turn signals, yes. Horn, yes. Progress marches forward. So the key works pretty reliably now. Still nothing at the start button. That could be the fault of the button, starter solenoid, any wires in between, or whatever. Before I go hunting that down, I generally like to shove some fire up this bike's ass, see if I can get it to turn over. That involves spraying starter fluid into the air box, or in this case, up into the left side carb, because that's currently disconnected, and then jumping it with the screwdriver, see if we can get it to fire. That's going to tell me a lot of things about the ignition system, if the bike has compression, if the starter motor works, stuff like that. And that's all stuff I want to know before we get too far into this. Bitchin'! So now we know the bike at least will run on starter fluid. There are two main repairs that I need to do on this bike. First is to get the starter motor turning on the button, and second is to clean the carburetors because they're disgusting. So I'm going to get it cranking over now. I've disconnected the starter solenoid and we're going to test it. Basically, I know I got a hot wire here and then the ground here, so I'll just try and get it to flip over. Maybe I gotta reverse them. Nothing. So this starter solenoid is probably seized. I'm gonna go see if I have one that's similar that I can throw into this bike. Whenever I do bike part outs, I like to hang on to useful parts that are pretty interchangeable. Those include front brake master cylinders, key ignitions, starter solenoids, stuff like that. Here's one from God knows what type of bike. I've had it for a while. Let's jump it and see if it's good. Well, it flicks, so that's a positive sign. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in and see if we can get it to turn this bike over. Alright, it's in. Let's jump it. That's cool. Now I'm going to wire it into the wiring harness of the bike, and we'll see if the button works. Cruising right along. So you guys see how easy this stuff is. We've been at this like, what, 40-45 minutes so far, and already we've fixed like half a dozen things. We had a bike that was total junker, broken down, not doing anything, ugly as shit. It's still ugly as shit, but at least it starts over and we know it'll run on starter fluid. We got the solenoid fixed and the starter is confirmed good. Before I get to the carbs, I actually think I'm gonna drain the tank, pop that cap, drain the tank, and see what's inside the tank, because when I took the tank off I noticed it was full. So hopefully it's just old gas and it's not water, but yeah, we'll see what's going on in there. I have it soaking with some WD-40, so we'll try and wiggle it loose. Not force it, because I only have one key. Haha, turns out I have two keys, and the one that I was trying it for was just for the ignition. Now that I tried the tank key, it opened like a charm. I can see that it has been creamed inside. And the gas doesn't even look all that bad. Whatever. Maybe it'll run a motorcycle. Alrighty, time for carburetors. 2 carbs, 2 cylinders, easy peasy. Plenty of room in here and in here to work with. Best way that I've found to do it is to find the airbox mounting bolts. I know I got one here, maybe I have a couple in here and in here. Take them out, slide the airbox back, give a little bit of room in between the boots and the carburetors, and then pop the carbs out. These ones look pretty nasty, but I was just wrenching on them. Turns out they're not seized, but they're very sticky. So, gonna need a lot of work. To this day, I might have only found, out of hundreds of bikes that I've restored, maybe only found like 2 or 3 sets of carburetors that I was just like, no, can't be fixed. These ones might look gross, but I bet they're entirely repairable. Well, here's the first real setback of the day. I was sliding the carburetors back, and these boots right here are completely broken off, both sides. That's a fucking shame. Nothing to do about it except replace them. I just know some dickhead on eBay is going to want like $200 for a good set. Let's see what we can find on eBay. Well, I spoke too soon about those dickheads. Look, this guy only wants $40.02. I can't get this thing to focus. For 2 new boots, so that's a pretty good deal. But look what this ad is teaching me. It's teaching me that the CB450 SC, which is what I have, the CM400 and the CM450 all use the same boots. So instead of just searching for Honda Nighthawk 450 boots, I can now search for CM400 and CM450 and see if I can get the same boots for a little bit cheaper, which is what I'm gonna do. Well, looks good, like this guy was the cheapest anyway, so $40 and I have this problem solved. Not a bad deal. I'm gonna go ahead and order them off eBay here, coming from Wisconsin. Should be a few days. And so I will have failed in my goal to get a bike running on the first day. That's a bummer. No problem though. There's plenty of stuff for me to do in the meantime, like clean those carburetors. And clean up some other stuff too, and try and get it going, or get it looking pretty good, get those stickers off and all kinds of stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. On to carburetors. Alrighty, carburetors off. They're actually looking not too bad. Choke here, not seized. Throttle, very stiff, but also not seized. 1, 2 slides. Not seized. So that's cool. I'm going to clean them up on the outside first a little bit and get all this grease and particulate off, and then go into here, clean these up. I do all mine by hand. And then obviously rip off the old boot fragments. Pull them off. Save the clamps, because you never know when you're going to need a good boot clamp. And let's see what else. Probably replace... Actually, this fueling doesn't look horrible. Looks pretty good. Yep. So just get on it. The last thing this channel needs is another carburetor cleaning video, so I'm just going to skip to the end if you guys don't mind. Alrighty, carbs are all cleaned up. Linkage is much better. Ooh, nice and tight. It's definitely pretty swifty. Awesome. Unfortunately, I can't put them in because we don't have the carburetor boots yet. So this bike is going to join the other one, sitting outside in the rain under a tarp, waiting for parts. However, what I can do today is see what's going on with that front brake and hopefully repair it. So let's go outside and do that. So here's the old nasty front brake master cylinder. Screws don't even come out. This shit's all degraded. The piston is not seized, and so that's something in its favor, but it doesn't feel like it's doing anything inside. So I'm just like, fuck it. I mean, $17 on eBay, man. Even comes with the brake light switch. I mean, brand new piece, you know? So what if it's made in China? Half the shit in the world's made in China. Throw it on there. I buy these things in bulk. So cheap. They're universal to any Japanese motorcycle with handlebars, basically. Really the only variable is either you have a 1-inch handlebar or a 7/8 handlebar. So every now and again I'll buy 3 7/8 and 3 1-inchers. That way I never run out. There we go. Now we connect the brake line, fill it up, and bleed it out down at the caliper. All bled, mirrors back on, good and firm. We even have a brake light now. That's how we do this shit. Folks, we're going to take a brief hiatus while I wait for those carburetor boots to arrive. In the meantime, I'm also going to source possibly a new tachometer and a seat cover for this bike. So stay tuned.